Hello, everyone. Hello. I am very excited for this video. There has been a lot of things going on today that have prohibited me from making this live, but I'm excited to be here and share this information with you guys. So I'm just going to get straight into it and talk about my experience. Hello to everyone who's joining. Hello. Hi, Ryan. Good to hear from you. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about human energy harvesting, okay? And something that there's just been a lot of synchronicities that have happened today. And so I want to talk about them. And I want to give practical advice on how to protect your energy, okay? So let's get straight into it. So this pass right here, this 3-day pass that I had to Stairway to the Stars. This is the event that Bashar was talking at. Now, mind you, I'm not sure if I said this in the live because some of you guys were with me and you guys have seen this live where I'm talking about Athena. I'm talking about all the sessions that I went in. If you guys remember, let me know. So here's the thing. While my internet crashed today, internet, like I had to use my, you know how you like turn off the Wi-Fi and then you have to use the data and stuff? Okay, so even the data was being spotty. It's just been a lot been going on today. And I microneedled my face last night, so my face is like I don't have any like foundation and stuff on there, and I'm just like, if you have done microneedling before, then you know. If you know. So anyway, I was scrolling on TikTok because it's like it was spotty, but it was enough to give you like coincidentally social media platforms. Like TikTok was running fine, Instagram was running fine, but like if I tried to go live, I couldn't go live. If I tried to do anything other than consume content, it wasn't letting me. I digress. So, and there is this woman who popped up on my feed, probably like within the minutes. And she was also at Stairway to the Stars, and she is a psychic, right? So she can see a lot of the things going on. It's like her veil is thinner, essentially, between the spiritual and here on earth. Okay. There's a lot of people that don't want to see angels, they don't want to see demons, they don't want to see that realm, right? So she has this ability to see that. Okay. So she starts off her TikTok by saying that essentially that weekend was for harvesting energy and that there were a lot of people, a lot of false teachers there that were doing that. And not only were they doing that, but they were doing it knowingly. So they were like, um, there were throughout the day. So first off, there's different sessions that were going on throughout the day. So you could have been in Bashar's, session, or you could have been in a completely different session. There was like multiple rooms, and of course, this was at well, not of course, but this was at the Luxor, and the Luxor is just a topic in itself, right? It's different. The energy in the Luxor is different than any other hotel that I've been to. They all have their essence, but this one is like as soon as you walk in there, because I don't see things, I've blocked that out. I blocked that out around the age of 8 is when I decided that I don't want that. Um, when you walk in there though, you can feel um it's lonely. It's a very lonely hotel. Okay. So I'm not going to go any further than that, but anyway, she's talking in this TikTok and she's saying how it was basically a weekend of people like doing these rituals and like harvesting the energy of people that are deliberate creators. And it just resonated so much. So let me get through this. Basically, her experience was she went into this morning meditation that I was not there at. She went to this morning meditation and she opened her eyes when she was doing the meditation and she immediately, right? She immediately saw these two figures, reptilian figures that were about 15 feet tall that were like in the front. Okay. They were in the front of this audience. And then she looked around and she saw everybody who was doing the meditations. There was like a clear tube sticking from the crown chakra, and it was feeding the reptiles or the reptilian entities the energy. So they were like eating up, consuming their energy. Okay. Now, when I talk about harvesting energy, this is obviously not a beneficial harvesting. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the two differences and then also how to protect yourself from this stuff. But I found it very interesting. That wasn't even the wildest part of her story. The wildest part of her story was that when she was looking around and she saw all this happening, she started cutting the cords of the tubes so that they could like protect themselves. So she's cutting all the cords of the people that she sees in the room. And while she's doing that, the person at the front opens their eyes. It was a man. I think there was a woman and a man. Um, the man opened his eyes and looked directly at her and was only looking at her. And she had a friend that was sitting next to her, so he was looking at her and the friend. I'm sorry, but that story was, um, very interesting to me, and let me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else, guys. If you have seen the live that I did talking about that whole weekend, you will know when I say after the first day, what did I keep saying? I'm so drained. I can't do anything else. Like, I literally can't do anything else. Now, what I will say is that I don't believe that I experienced the energy harvesting that she was talking about. I obviously wasn't there for the meditation, and I find it interesting. I found it very interesting that I only went to 2 sessions, okay? Again, all day. It was an all-day event. I had this 3-day pass. It guaranteed me access into, like, this private club too that was from 9 PM to 2 AM, right? I didn't go out. I didn't go to the club. I didn't participate in this weekend, right? So I did the 2 sessions. One was about cats, and then the other one was about channeling, and then I went home and I did the live, and I said to you guys, I just feel like I need to cry, and I need to, like, I feel like so much energy has shifted in me, right? And the next day, that's when I saw Bashar. And I believe, yes, I saw Julia Cannon, which is Dolores Cannon's daughter, that morning, and then I saw Bashar, and then I literally, like, the way that things were moving in my life, in my reality, it's like I couldn't have stayed any longer because my mom, she dropped me off on the 2nd day. On the 1st day, I was like, "I'm not gonna be paying for an all-day parking ticket or and, like, the parking pass because 'cause I'm a local, like, I'm just not it's gotten ridiculous out here, but anyway, okay, so this isn't a story about complaining, I'm just letting you know. I was like, "What the heck?" Like, it's already this amount of money, and I don't really feel the need to stay here for the entire period because I've been through these 2 sessions, and I already feel like I've done enough. Like, I have done enough. So then I left. And then I didn't even go on Sunday. I didn't even go on Sunday, and I was kind of beating myself up because I was like, "Oh, I should go out, I should mingle, I should connect with other people, right? Like, I paid for this weekend." Mind you, I don't think I mentioned this, but when I purchased the ticket, I had no idea that there was going to be multiple speakers like that. It was basically like a conference, like, you could just go into these different rooms and hear what other people are talking about, and I was under the impression because I went through Bashar's website that it was just Bashar. So I came in being like, okay, well, all I really wanted to see was Bashar. If anybody else piques my interest, then that'll be cool too. So that was the intention. So I was more relaxed with the flow of things. I wasn't needing to be at all the other places because that's just not even what my intention was. So then imagine I'm watching this woman who is talking about her experience, and honestly, if I hadn't experienced that same energy shift, then I would have dismissed it, right? But it was so interesting what she's saying because I felt it too. And so I don't have the what would it be? Clairvoyance? Clairvoyance is like when you can see, right? And then clairaudience is when you can hear. So I have not activated the clairvoyance that she saw of the reptilian figures, but you can definitely feel when you are doing like a mass meditation like that, or you're doing something where there's a big group of people and they're all doing the same thing together, that's when the energy is super powerful. It's very intense. Another thing, that I wanted to say is it was very interesting how the first day I only stayed for the 2 sessions and then I left, and then the next day, on the day of Bashar, while my mom was taking me to the hotel, she told me 2 things. She said, 1, make sure that you're I don't even remember what the first thing was. It was like, make sure that make sure that, like, if you want to talk to Bashar or something like that, then I have a feeling that you're gonna meet him, right? Which I was pretty close to him. I was able to get a photo. You guys saw the photo. But then the second thing that she said to me was, also, God is telling me that you need to pray before you enter into the building. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. So that's going to lead me into how to protect your energy. But when she says that, I mean, of course, my background and everything, I like to pray and stay prayed up everywhere I go. But then when my mom said it like that, and I'm like, okay, for sure, got you. So then that happened, and there was a meditation that we all did, and that one was very interesting, but it wasn't draining like in the way that she was saying. So, with all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed that story. Let's talk about what it feels like, looks like to experience energy harvesting for the good and for the not so good, and then also how to protect yourself and discern what that looks like. It's not a coincidence that I was not there for very long. And I absolutely, with the confirmation of those videos, realized that the flow of sessions that I was going to was aligning me to what I was intending. So I missed all of the sessions that she was talking about, and I had no desire to go to them. Energy harvesting is something that it's not something to fear, and it's not something to like be afraid of. It's something that is happening quite often, and we see this a lot with technology. So the spiritual realm, probably the first most common thing that they have access to is electronics. So you'll notice that if there is, like, in the scary movies or whatever, or just a movie in general, any type of spirituality or like any type of 5D, 4D, whatever dimension that they're in, if they're trying to connect with us, they will use technology as a means to communicate. But I read this thing, I was looking it up on Google and trying to get more information. Of course, they're not going to like get into the nitty gritty of this, but let's just look at the most basic term of energy harvesting. And so it says interest in harvesting energy from the human body is not new, and it is practically incorporated in some everyday use devices, such as automatic watches. So the ones that are like they use the sun or they use your arms for like when you're using movement, which use energy from movement to charge. In this case, the oscillation of the arm pendulum during walking feeds the watch mechanism, which is used to store energy. So, if you don't know this by now, we are electrical machines. We have like this aura, right? And we have this energy capacity. And we radiate heat all the time. We have a temperature, right? And if we go too hot, then we're out of balance. If we get too cold, then we're out of balance. Our body likes to remain in this homeostasis, and it likes to have balance, okay? This is really important with where I'm going next because balance is crucial. You don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. And when you are experiencing something like that, where it's on a spiritual level and you've got, let's say, even 10, honestly, like you could do a small amount of people. Let's say you've got 10 people that know that they're deliberate creators and they understand their God source and their power. Doing a meditation that's focused in on one intention has the ability to shift the masses. Like it's quite intense. So imagine if you know what you're doing and you know how powerful you are, and you collect a whole room of people that understand their power and they're all focused on the same intention. That energy, because we are electromagnetic fields, is generating a lot of power, and you can transmute the energy for either good or not so good purposes. So in the instance of the girl talking about in the video where she was saying that she saw the reptilian figures, right? Who knows exactly where that energy is going? It could serve a material purpose, or it could serve a spiritual purpose, like them, like a god that they worship, or like some type of other entity. And again, this is pretty esoteric. This is a little different than what I talk about. I don't know, but it's very real. We've been doing this for a very long time. So anyway, if you get into a space, or if you are with a really big group of people, and it it feels it feels like it's good, or it feels like it's not so good, I want you to pay attention to that, okay? I really want you to pay attention to that. I wanted to get into not only just discussing what it means to harvest the energy, because it's kind of like Wi-Fi in the sense where you don't see it, but you know that it's happening. And even with the rate at which the speed moves. So, like right now, my computer is moving fast, right? I'm able to go live with you, but just a couple minutes ago, it was very slow. It didn't have the capacity, it didn't have the power to sustain my computer. So that is us. And depending on what frequency we are in and what we're resonating in, it will determine the speed or the rate at which the power moves. So now let's talk about, because I have these 3 points here. Let's talk about ways to protect yourself, but I want to be a little bit loose with the term protect, because again, it's not like you need to fear things. And I definitely don't want this video to be about fearing things, especially when you know your power. You don't have a lot of fear. You become more of an authoritative power. Okay, it's more of like a declaration. You can allow things, and then you can say, move on out. Like you can dismiss things. And there's also, I don't know why I feel the need to mention this right now, but there's different rituals that you can use. Like sage is a good energy protector. You've got like candles, and you've got other organic products that can help you shift the energy. But I want you to know that these are all techniques. You are the ultimate technique. So if you say, like, for example, when I said, I'm going to protect my body, I'm going to create an orb, or I'm going to create like a kind of like this field around me that is protected and only puts me in alignment with what I want to experience and what I prefer, it's done. You don't need extra things. You can if you want to, and if that aligns with your belief system. But I'm just letting you know right now, you have all the power that's necessary within you to do your thing. Okay. So anyway, the first thing that I wanted to say, and I feel like I've been saying them, but I just want to make them very clear. So the first thing is prayer. That is one major way to protect yourself, because you're putting awareness and you're putting intention. And intention, awareness, consciousness is everything. That's everything. When you pray, pray as if you have received it. Don't pray asking and pleading for something. How you pray effectively is by setting the intention and knowing that it is done and that it has been created for you already. Okay. So you feel secure, you feel grounded in that. When you pray to God, and when you pray, however you like to pray, for me, for example, I would say, God, thank you. God, thank you for protecting me and for creating this shield around me. Thank you for the armor of God protecting me at all times. I thank you, and I put blessing on those that are in my presence too. So anybody that is in your field, they also get affected by this too. You can also shield others. Okay, this is something that Jesus was known for. He would like his presence would affect and influence others to the degree where they, obviously he created a lot of miracles, but you have that same ability. Okay, the second thing is to use discernment. Use discernment. If AKA gut feeling. If something doesn't sit right in your body, go. move, do something that is in alignment with your belief system. A lot of times we try to like suppress things or like suppress the emotion, but our body is so intelligent. It knows what it's doing. And this is like, I mean, there's so many things popping up in my mind, but like even something as simple as intuitive eating, our body knows what it needs in that moment. Let's say if it's craving a nutrient. Um, we are very complex. We know what we need in that moment that we need it. So use your discernment, and you can intend for this as well, but usually it's going to be more physical. So if you're, again, if your stomach feels uneasy, or if you like chills, depending on the chills, sometimes most of the time when I receive chills, it's more of an ascension, like it's not descension or descending. It's more of like a raising your consciousness, but it does depend. Okay. There are situations where you have to use your discernment. And then the third one is to ask for a sign. If you have not received the sign already, put it out there for the universe, for God. Just say, this is what I'm looking for. Give me a sign. Give me a simple yes, no. Somebody can come up to you and say what you need to hear. Ask for a sign in that moment. Those are three different ways that you can protect yourself from, I would say, more of the negative ways that energy is harvested. And then, of course, like if it's good, if it's something that you do prefer, you can transmute energy and bring things towards you. We know this to be true, but it's also the same thing. So if I have gotten into a state where I'm raising my consciousness, and then I put that energy, those loving thoughts on my nieces and nephews. Okay. That's the first thing that's popping into my mind. I can send them through the law of thought transmission. I can send them all of my energy and feel the love on them and place that towards them. And it affects them because it's affecting me. If I'm in their reality and I'm very aware of them, I can alter the way that I view them. We're all one consciousness, but this is how it works. If you change your consciousness and the reality that you're living in and how you view them, then they conform to that. Okay. If the energy is strong enough. So you pray for them, you're seeing the best of them, even if they have doubt, even if they have doubt, you send them that energy, then they can be affected by that. They can have that protection. Um, yeah, this isn't new stuff, but I wanted to talk about it. I thought it was very interesting, and I feel very grateful. Oh, and then the last thing that I wanted to say is, in that moment during that weekend, I have no words for it. I I remember after the second day, I went back home. I watched Soul, which is my favorite movie. I watched Soul, and I just ate food. I don't know if I cried. Well, I probably cried from the movie because it's just a good movie, but, I mean, that duration of time that I spent, like, kind of grieving and, like, feeling, really feeling, um, I was also in this mode of questioning why. Why wasn't I up to going out and, like, meeting new people, or going, especially the club part. I was like, "Why am I not feeling up to this?" And I was kind of beating myself up, okay? Not too bad, but I was just like, "Oh, but then I got to a point where I was like, "Okay, everything happens for a reason. I'm just not going. Like, listen, I'm not up for it." Then I went to church the next day, and then after church I was just like, "Yeah, I'm good," because I saw everything that I felt compelled to see. And it was only until I saw that video and I had all the confirmation that I needed from that weekend, because it made so much sense to me. It all clicked. And I am very grateful for that woman who posted that, by the way. But yeah, I wanted to say this as the final thought, is that everything is happening through you, and it is happening for you. Okay? So if you feel like, even with manifestations, or like, let's say that we have this desire, right? And it hasn't come to fruition. Please know that everything is happening for you and through you in divine timing. Everything will happen perfectly. When it comes into your experience, it will be at the right time when you need it. You don't know what is happening behind the scenes. You don't know what you're being protected from. You don't know any of the stuff that is happening because, again, the only constant is change. So we know that things are changing all the time. And even though we don't know exactly what that movement is, thank God. Thank God for everything that is happening in your reality because it is aligned to you and it is tailored to you. It is unique to you and it is for you to experience. So who knows? Who knows what would have happened if I had like pushed myself to like, do you see what I'm saying, guys? Like everything happens for a reason. And so it really, looking back, it's 2020 vision. But at that time, I was like, why don't I feel like going out? It's because you are at the right time always. You are divinely and perfectly made, and whatever you are wanting to experience in your reality, it is happening according to that. So don't question it. In other words, don't question it. Don't worry about it. Pray over everything and worry about nothing. So that's my final thought. Thank you guys for listening to the story. And if you guys have had any other experiences like that, I mean, I know it's not October, it's not even spooky season, but I did feel the need to express this situation that just happened. And you guys have been with me. I did that live. You guys experienced the energy that I was in during that live. Like it was so, it was so interesting. Okay, let's see here. And then yeah, I think that's all I have to say before we get into this next segment. I want to make sure I got everything. She discussed false teachers. She discussed false teachers and the best way, because look, it was funny. It was funny the responses that I got from the channel from some of you guys, and then I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but some people were like, "Oh, that's so amazing that you saw Bashar," and some people were like, "Bashar's like whatever." Um, and it's so interesting. Whatever state of consciousness you're in, that's what's going to resonate with you during the time. And it's interesting because when I first started learning the teachings from Neville Goddard and started like really diving into the Bible, I was not I was not led to listen to Bashar. I resonated with Abraham Hicks, and of course, I love listening to Neville's, but I was never like, I, I just didn't, I just didn't care, honestly. And then over time, I intentionally sought out one of his teachings. Like, I don't know why. It just popped into my head and I was like, let me listen to this and let me like really listen to it. And in the moment that I needed it, his message was loud and clear and it aligns with what Neville talks about, which is also interesting too. So, it's not a matter of like whether somebody is good or bad, or not even good or bad, because I do think that his well, I know that his intentions are different than what she was talking about with the whole false teachers. But I did want to discuss false teachers because Neville has also talked about this too. And the clearest way to know if somebody is like a false teacher is going to be through your discernment. It's going to be through your discernment. If it does not feel like, okay, this is in my power, this is something that I feel to be true within my belief systems. If it feels wrong, then just don't accept it. Um, and again, I found it so interesting that people had mixed reviews because I completely understood where they were coming from. It was only until I listened and was in the vibrational vicinity to like actually understand what he was saying that I resonated with it. So if a teacher does not resonate with you, that's perfectly fine. Like just don't accept whatever they're saying and go about your day. It may be the message for you later on in your life from whatever state of consciousness that you're in. So, um, I think what did I saw something today and it was like, oh, it was like, it's not, oh, that's what it was. They said it's not whether it's good versus evil, but it's chaos versus order, right? So it's not the question of like, if is this something that's bad for me? Because essentially life is neutrally, it's fundamentally meaningless, not in a bad way, in a good way. So as you have free will, as you are the creator of your own reality, you have this ability to assign meaning, right? You get the option to choose if you want to see this in a positive or a negative light or a neutral light. So with this free will that we've been given, this law of liberty that Neville discusses, you have the ability to think whatever you want to think. So when we look at it as order versus chaos, then it becomes a lot more balanced. Instead of seeing things as like this is bad, this is good, it's like no, this is what I prefer. This is something that I don't believe serves me, so I would rather focus on this, and within that you will find both chaos and order to get you your manifestation. I trust that this makes sense. If you guys have any questions, I'll take them now. That's all I really had to say. And yeah, Can hi, Ryan. Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone. I'm just now looking at the comments now. Why does it say there's only one? I'm not sure. I wonder what that is. I'm really liking the Disney movie Coco. It's so good. Hi, can you channel my energy? I will in another one. I will in another live. But yeah, today has been like a bit overwhelming for me. I appreciate you, Ryan. Also, I emailed a lot of you guys back, so look out on your emails for that. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, or if you have experienced anything like what I'm talking about perhaps, then let me know that too. It's a very interesting topic, and it's not, again, it's not as like woo woo as you would think. There's technology nowadays that uses the sun to have energy. You can also like tap in, you can like get machinery like a Peloton, maybe not a Peloton, but like other equipment. Once you get the momentum started, then it automatically runs based off of your energy and the energy that you're putting into it. A diamond. How do you feel about fractals shared energy? I don't know too much about it. So I don't think that I would properly be able to answer, but since we are all one and we're all sharing the energy, there's a way, because we do have this separation, us being the one and only consciousness, being everything and nothing at the same time, then we have this balance of being who we are. And it would be really weird if I were to walk outside and see just me walking everywhere. So we like to have the diversity. We like to have contrast. We like to have just variety. But shared consciousness, yeah. So the thing is with social media and with technology in general, it is bringing us to this shared consciousness, which does align to Revelation if you've ever read that book, which also Neville Goddard talks about, but I'm not gonna, that's for a different video. There is this idea of a time where all becomes one and where it's going to be this God that we adhere to, which is the all is one. It gets very, very deep. But essentially, social media is bringing that into manifestation because we have more access to people than we've ever had before. And again, like I was saying, the spiritual realm has a lot of access to technology and has a lot of access to the, what would I say? Like the internet, right? The internet, like what is the internet, right? When we look at it, what is the internet? What are these cables doing? How are they generating that power? And this is what Einstein did. This is like what these people devoted their lives to, Nikola Tesla. The shared consciousness that we're speaking of has already been accomplished when we look at things like the pyramid. That was all telepathy based. So now it's like we were there and then we forgot and then now we're remembering and then we're forgetting. So there are a lot of people that have woken up to this idea of knowing who they are and knowing their power. When more people know their power, then it becomes less easy to control things and manipulate people into thinking other things. Now, what's interesting about the shared consciousness is that so there's people that don't remember, and then there's people that remember, and then we're all being like, hey, this is all happening. Like this is what's going on. And that is through telepathy. And that is through things like social media. One of the I would say the reason why I even came to understanding this truth was through YouTube. I believe it was Master Shri Akashana who had just like it was like a simple how to manifest a text message. And I did the task with him on that video and it happened as I was meditating. It did not happen. There was no delay. I was doing the techniques. I was going through the process that he was explaining and I received the text message from that person in that moment. And I was like, that is interesting. And so we all have this capability. We are all telepathically speaking to each other, but it's whether or not we're aware of it. There are souls that come here and have several different bodies, but same consciousness, but has their own destiny. Like I've seen Tupac and Rosa Parks that have reincarnated. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's 11/22/2023. Yeah. Isn't that so interesting? And I knew that I was like, "Ah, I just want to go live today because 22 is my favorite number. 22 is my favorite number. And tomorrow is going to be day 22 of the love routine that I've been doing. So I was like, give me all the 22s. Come on. I love 22. The last apartment that I stayed in was an 11 house, and that was a really special house. All right. That's all I've got for tonight. Thank you guys for being here with me and engaging, liking the video, all of the love and support. Oh, you're a master number 22. I love that. I love that. It's exciting. Okay. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.